towering flames are engulfing multiple cities across Israel as devastating wildfires spiral completely out of control. What began as a few isolated blazes in forested and rural areas has now exploded into a nationwide inferno, pushing deep into urban centers and overwhelming emergency response systems. Driven by relentless howling winds, the flames have morphed into unstoppable walls of heat and destruction. Gusts reaching dangerous speeds have made it nearly impossible to contain the fires, turning even minor embers into full-scale outbreaks in minutes. Firefighters, overwhelmed and exhausted, are struggling to gain even the slightest foothold against the advancing blaze. Despite their relentless efforts, the fires continue to outpace suppression attempts, with containment lines failing one after another. In cities like Netanya, Modi'in, and Petah Tikva, entire districts have been cloaked in dense smoke and engulfed by chaos. Residents speak of a surreal landscape, where sirens pierce the sky, visibility drops to zero, and ash rains down like snow. In many places, fire lines that were set up to slow the blaze are breaking within minutes. Crews report that every suppression tactic is being ripped apart by the ferocious wind. Families are fleeing with nothing but the clothes on their backs. The fire is spreading at horrifying speed, forcing entire neighborhoods to evacuate with no time to gather belongings. Many had only minutes to escape as flames approached homes, sometimes burning houses down within minutes of ignition. Hospitals are nearing capacity as waves of patients arrive with burns, smoke inhalation, and panic-related injuries. Medical staff are working around the clock as emergency rooms overflow. The air itself has become toxic. The once blue sky has turned black even at midday, thickened with smoke, soot, and ash. The government has confirmed that over 450,000 people have been directly impacted in just 1 week, either through injury, displacement, or evacuation from danger zones. Emergency shelters are filled beyond capacity. Thousands now sleep in gymnasiums, schools, community centers, and even open-air parking lots. In the Jerusalem corridor, fires have crept terrifyingly close to ancient religious sites and culturally significant landmarks. The sense of urgency is growing by the hour. Gas stations are running dry. Roads are jammed with traffic as families rush to escape, and some towns have already been cut off as flames jump across highways and encircle villages. Authorities fear that entire communities may become inaccessible.
Allahu Akbar.
Social media is flooded with chilling videos showing infernos consuming forests in seconds, flames licking the sides of buildings, and families driving through tunnels of fire just to survive. In cities like Be'er Sheva, the acrid smell of burning wood and melted plastic fills the air, making breathing difficult even indoors. Government officials have labeled this one of the worst fire disasters in Israel's modern history. Despite the heroism displayed by first responders, the fire remains largely uncontrollable. New flare-ups are being reported every few hours, spreading fear across the nation. Evacuation zones are widening, and authorities are urging residents to remain alert and ready to evacuate without warning.
Please take care of vehicles coming behind you and opening the door.
For many, the emotional toll is becoming unbearable. Some families, fearing for their long-term safety, have decided to leave the country altogether. Airport terminals are overwhelmed as people seek to escape the crisis. Flights to Europe and North America have surged in demand, with some calling this mass departure a second exodus. With no rain in the forecast and winds still intensifying, the worst may be yet to come. Israel now stands at the edge of a full-scale national emergency, one defined not only by the flames, but also by the fear, loss, and uncertainty gripping the population. As the fires rage on, the question remains, when and how will this nightmare end?